Laramie Live on KOWB is back on AM 1290.
9:13 coming up on 9:14 on your Monday morning, and Solid Rock Outdoor Ministries presents various leadership training sessions through their wilderness courses, and we've got three lovely ladies in studio with us, as well as Director Josh Horak here from Solid Rock Outdoor Ministries. Josh, thanks for coming on. How are you this morning, by the way?
Doing great, David. Thanks for having us here.
I appreciate you and the ladies coming in. We've got Rydell, Jenny, and Emily. That's right to left, as you cannot see them on your radio dial. That's a good play-by-play description there, right to left. But Josh, first of all, talk a little bit about the 40-day, 40-night wilderness course that Solid Rock Outdoor Ministry presents. I've talked with Andrew Arnold several times about this, and I was interested in just kind of hearing some of the experiences, and we're going to touch on that in just a moment. But take me through what this entails, so to speak.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing and awesome opportunity for these ladies to be able to do this. And as a matter of fact, what's really fun for us is these ladies just finished our first all-women's 40-day, 40-night wilderness expedition. And it's quite the accomplishment, because what it is we take young people on these wilderness expeditions, and they go backpacking, rock climbing, mountaineering. The first 10 days is pretty intensive rock climbing in the Laramie Peaks area, and they're learning it. By day 2, they are on the rock, climbing, belaying one another, encouraging one another, and in real-life climbing situations and scenarios. And by day 10, they're actually climbing a 200 to 300 foot rock face.
Wow!
And so it's very fast, very intensive. After that, they transition to an intensive 3-day mountaineering training, where they go from knowing nothing to climbing steep snow coolers on rope teams. And when those two sections are complete and they finished it, they all passed the course, it's then we launch them into a 28-day expedition that travels over 100 miles on foot, where they're above close to 10,000 feet the entire time, navigating through terrain, living in authentic community, working on leadership development, and really seeking the Lord. That's a big piece of the course as well that we do.
Right.
And it's those 28 days where they do a lot of backpacking, intensive mountaineering, and they do a 48-hour solo. And then the last 5 days, they wake up one morning and their instructors are gone, and they completely finish the course by themselves.
Wow, that's an intensive 40-day, 40-night process, and we're going to talk with some of these ladies, and I appreciate them coming in. We'll start here to my left with Emily, if you want to just swing the mic over there. And Emily, just talk a little bit about, first of all, where are you from, by the way?
I'm actually from Farmington, Connecticut, but
okay.
I work with the Coast Guard, so I'm stationed down in New London, Connecticut.
Wow. Okay, so all the way from the East Coast. I guess, first of all, what prompted you to want to venture out in the wilderness for this long?
Well, I decided to take a sabbatical year from the Coast Guard to really pursue my relationship with the Lord. Mm-hmm. And I've always been interested in wilderness, in the outdoors, and having done some research, I came across SROM, and it seemed like a great challenge and a great opportunity.
Take me through your experience and what this was like for you on a personal level, getting out there in the wilderness for 40 days, 40 nights, and kind of going at the same time going through some leadership training in this experience.
It was definitely very challenging, I think more so than I expected, but the opportunities were amazing. As Josh mentioned, we got to do a range of things from rock climbing to mountaineering, and really experiencing all types of environments. I'd say my biggest takeaway really was just waking up every morning and saying yes to God, not knowing what might lie ahead, not knowing if we would end up in a blizzard or getting hailed on or having a 16-hour hiking day. And that really just, those are opportunities that you have in a course like this, because you will experience things that you've never dealt with before.
What do you kind of take away from a leadership standpoint overall, and just kind of maybe what lessons you were taught there that you can take now going back to your job in the Coast Guard after your year sabbatical is up, and just other things in your life?
I would say just watching our instructors, they really were the perfect example of servant leaders. And for me, I realized that a true leader, especially a true leader in Christ, is somebody who is also a relentless listener, somebody who addresses problems promptly, but also every conversation we have with somebody either points you towards or away from God. And so a true leader is somebody who their daily goal, their daily mission is to point all of their followers towards God in both their actions and their conversations.
Real quick, did you prefer the rock climbing here, the snowing in the snowy range, or up in the Wind River above 10,000 feet?
I would have to say I definitely enjoyed being in the Wind River range the most. It was probably the most challenging part, but also definitely the most valuable and the most exciting.
Talking again with some students just off the 40-day, 40-night trek from SROM, and we're going to pass the mic now over here to Jenny. Jenny, step on up here. Where are you from, and what prompted you to come on out and experience the wilderness here in Wyoming for 40 days and 40 nights?
Yeah, I'm from Michigan. So I heard about SROM originally 2 years ago from an acquaintance who came out on a 40-day expedition, and then heard about it a year later when another friend went, and just hearing about their experiences and how much this course changed their life for the better, just really felt that it was something I needed to do as well. So started the process of coming out in January, and yeah. All
right, talk a little bit about what experiences you had over the 40 days, 40 nights.
Yeah, I had absolutely no experience backpacking, rock climbing, or anything. Very much ignorant about all of it. So it was very challenging for me physically and mentally, doing something that was so out of my comfort zone, so not something I was used to. And just through that, all the challenges grew very much in dependence and trust in God. Trusting that He would get me through each physical challenge and each mental challenge of not being good at what I was doing, and it being very difficult for me because it was something I was so not used to, and just grew in dependence on the Lord for getting me through each day mentally and physically, and showing me the beauty in each day, and teaching me so much through all of that. So,
leadership-wise, what do you take away from an experience like this that you can apply towards your future now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I loved watching our instructors as well. We had 2 adjunct instructors who came out for a week at a time, one for the rock climbing section, one for the mountaineering section, and they were both very humble and quiet people. Not quiet, but just quiet-spirited, and not in your face about how good they were at each of the things. They were excellent at teaching, but not show-offy, and it was excellent to have someone walking through these things with us instead of ahead of us, and just walking step by step with us through those things, and the humility that they showed in teaching us these skills and walking through it with us.
Nice. What was your favorite part of the expedition here?
My favorite part was the student-led in the Wind River Range.
Okay.
When it was the students and we were working together, we worked together very well, and it was one of the most beautiful weeks of my life, that the part of the Wind River Range we were in.
Yeah. How long were you, or how many were in your group total?
It was 8 students and 2 instructors.
Okay, so once the 2 instructors went away, the 8 of you were able to bond together, huh?
Yes.
All right, that's good to know. All right, we're gonna pass the mic over one more time here. Last student in here is Rydell, and first of all, tell me where you're from, and then talk a little bit about how you became interested in this experience, and at the same time wanting to go through this experience, I guess.
Okay. I'm from Alberta, Canada.
Okay.
And I heard about this I was at a wedding and met this girl randomly, ended up that we had lots in common, and she started telling me about this course during the summer that she went in just a couple summers ago, and it really grabbed my attention because I've always been really interested in the outdoors.
Okay.
And so it was super cool, and it was on my heart like basically the whole year, because I had completely different plans for this summer, and the Lord just like closed doors and opened us up to SROM, which was
so your experience, you have experience in one outdoor activity.
Mm-hmm.
Jenny's like not so much for me, I guess, but take me through what you learned in this course and how your experience was.
Wow, I learned so much, but one of the things that stands out to me is truly understanding just the Lord's love for me, understanding just, his unconditional passion that he has for me, and being able to experience that out in the wilderness, because I think that being in the front country is great, but he definitely brought me to a spot in the wilderness where I could understand and I could see him working in a completely different way, that I feel like, just being here wouldn't have necessarily happened. So that would be, one of the biggest things for me that happened.
Did you prefer the rock climbing, the snow, or were you like these other two, where you like the independence and working together once the instructors left up in the Wind Rivers?
It was all fun. It was, all challenging. But I loved the mountaineering section. It was 12 days, and it was the heaviest our packs had ever been. And we got to do some ice climbing and just mountaineering out there. And it was probably the most challenging course for me, but it was the most enjoyable, and that's really when our team came together and formed as a community, and really showed, I guess, kind of what we're made of.
Talk a little bit. What was the range for any of you? What was the range of weather that you had to endure?
We had,
because this has been an interesting summer weather-wise in Wyoming. Let's just put it that way.
Oh my goodness, we had, I was at 6 days of rain. 6 days straight of rain and hail and snow. Ugh. And it was like, you'd be dry for like few hours, and then everything in your packs were wet, your tents were wet, your gear was wet, and it was, at times it was miserable, and it really pushed us like to certain points. And there was a certain pass that was 3,000 feet that we had to cross over to get down into a valley, and we hit a blizzard, like blowing ice into your face, couldn't see probably like 15 feet in front of you, and we had to get down this pass to get to our next campsite.
Wow, I saw a picture last Monday. They were last Monday the 27th, and they were talking about snow up around Jackson and stuff, and so I was like, oh man. But I can only imagine being up at 10,000 feet, what it's like. What was the most challenging aspect? Was it the mountaineering for you, or was it learning the rock climbing? Was it learning, going up in the snowies with some of the ice and things like that up there? Or?
The most challenging, I think, would have been almost the community.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is interesting. Physically, it was challenging, but just being able to like see all of these girls, and it's such a diverse group. We're all from completely different areas, and just being able to come together as a team and work together, like it was easy, but at the same time, it was a challenge, just in different personalities and my personality, and learning how to work together was probably the biggest challenge for me.
What about for you, Jenny? As somebody who no outdoor experience whatsoever, and I'm very limited of my own, so I can sympathize as well. I have done some hunting or some camping and some fishing, not some hunting, but what did you take away? What was the most challenging aspect for you?
The most challenging aspect for me was the mountaineering section. We're climbing over rock fields, which I'd never done before, with a 70-pound pack on, and just trying to balance. And the rain would cause it to be the rock to be slick, so you're not even sure if you can step on this rock. And some of the rocks moved, and then when we were climbing ice, I was a little bit more comfortable there, but you'd still step on snow and it would slide under you, and you're on an incline. It was just very physically not something I was used to. With very limited outdoors experience, but I never felt unsafe. I always knew at the end of the day I would be okay. I would be in a warm sleeping bag, like Rydell said. So it was very challenging, but never overly challenging, or I always knew I would get through it.
Yeah. Real quick, for you, what did you love the most, Emily?
I would have to say that my biggest love and my biggest challenge was just how hard we all worked, how hard we all pushed.
Okay.
There's one point in time where we got a little bit behind our itinerary due to the weather, and after that we really had a solid week of just long days, rough terrain, a lot of elevation gain. We got into some very cold nights camping in glacial areas, and I think just maintaining a positive attitude, and really the thing to remember is that there's a reason that you're out there for 40 days. You don't stop learning at day 10 or day 20 or even day 30. And so loving how we came together to persevere through that, and how you really can find yourself at home even in the wilderness.
All right. Well, ladies, thanks so much for coming in. Josh, we'll finish up with you. Anyone interested in learning more about this and future things, what are some of the details that people need to check out?
Yeah, if you are interested in SROM and really going on one of these, what we call a hero's journey, that mimics life, and you can learn life skills, community skills, and even work out this thing about the Lord. It's if you want to check that out, you can get online at www.srom.org.
Okay.
Feel free to give us a call, send us an email. We'd just love to connect. There's also a Facebook page, and that's probably the best way to connect with us.
Josh, ladies, thanks so much for coming in and sharing about your experiences. I greatly appreciate it. It's fun to learn about something different, something unique. So, Josh, thanks so much. Appreciate you bringing these ladies in.
Thank you, David.